All right, so I am now in my database, the one that we downloaded, the one that we saved, that we named correctly. And in my database, I have two objects. I have a grading info table. If I double click on that, it has grading information that I don't want to touch that comes from Sam. And then I also have, and this is probably where yours defaulted to with this open as a form. So start this assignment by creating a new table as specified in the section titled to modify the primary key on AC10. So doesn't mean that you don't read any of the pages up until that point, because it goes through and it tells you that we're creating a database for a company called Pratt Last. And for that company, we at least are going to have two tables. So one table is going to hold the clients or the customers, and then the other table is going to contain the account managers. And this is a relational database as Access uses because those two tables are associated. So in other words, I'm working for a company, I'm an account manager, I am responsible for certain clients. And then there are other account managers who have other clients. Well, you need to know in a database which clients are mine. And so those two tables are linked by that. It knows that I'm the account manager for certain clients, not someone else. So that's what we're building, those two tables. You should have also watched the lectures for this section for Access, which is in the lecture link that gives you good information about databases and relational databases. But I'm assuming that you've done all that, right? I'm sure you have. So we're going to go ahead and go to AC10. And the first thing we need to do, because we don't have a table that's come up here, we need to create a table. Most of the time when you open up Access, it creates a table for you just automatically. But since we have a start file, that's not necessarily the case. So if you don't have a table 1 here, we need to start creating the table. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to click Create, the Create tab, and then simply choose Table. And the first thing it's asking us to do on AC10 is to right-click the column heading for the ID field to display a shortcut menu. So I'm going to come up here, the ID field, I'm going to right-click, I'm going to rename this field. So I'm going to click rename this field, and I'm going to type account manager number. Then it tells me to click the white space immediately below this in order for it to take what I just put in here, the content. So the data type needs to be changed from auto number to short text. So we're going to click the data type arrow, and I'm looking right in my book to display a menu of available data types. So this is selected. Notice the account manager that we just renamed is selected. Right now the data type is auto number. We don't want that. Our textbook asks us to choose short text, which makes sense. If this is the account manager number, we may have numerals and alphanumeric, so it's going to be alphanumeric, so it might have letters and numbers in it. So we want it to be a short text. The field size text box, I'm on AC11. So I can look at the field size right here, and we don't need it to be huge. And on step 5 on page 11, it asks us to change this from 255 characters to 2. Ask us to click the name and caption button. And in the caption text box, it asks us to give a caption of AM and number sign. And then we're also going to click in the description text box and type what it asks us to type. Which is unique identifier of account manager. So I've got account manager number. I'm going to check that. I've got my AM with the number sign, and then I've got unique identifier of account manager. So I'm going to click OK. So notice, even though the name that we had earlier was, was account manager number, we now gave a caption. So this caption shows up instead of the name that we gave it, the name of the field. So it's a little shorter, a little easier, I'm sure, than the company. Everybody knows what that means. So I'm on page AC11, and now I need to define the remaining fields in the table. So I'm on the bottom of page AC11, I'm going to click to add. And then this one, I want it to be short text. So that's the type it is. And it asks me to enter last name. And I'm going to click the blank space below the field name to complete the change of the name. Notice this one is selected after I did that. So I want to come back in and select last name, make sure that that's representing what my field data is up here. I'm going to check and see that it's short text, which is what it asked me to create. And then in the field size, I'm going to select and I'm going to change it to 15. And then I hit enter. All right, this is the part of the book where it asks me to go ahead and complete those steps for these other fields. So I'm creating first name, the street, the city, state, postal code. So you need to follow through those steps to create it for each one. We'll do one more together. Click add. Ask me to look at figure 111 in my book. Oh, it is figure. So in figure 111, which is where the image is here, I'm going to actually look at the table 1.3, which is a couple pages back, which is on AC9, and that gives me what I'm going to use for each of these. So for first name, it says to use short text. Short text. My field name is first name. I'm going to click the white space. Make sure that it's right underneath of it, because then that highlights that. So I've got short text. And then in this field size, I'm going to do field size of 15. Hit enter. And then I know that my first name field size is short text, and its field size, yeah, is 15. So I'm going to go back to AC12, and I need to look at step 3, and I need to do first name, street, city, state, postal code fields. I need to add all of these that are in that table. So I'm going to pause, and I'll do mine while you do yours.